Hey guys, Christian the Havre Card Man coming back at you today, bringing you another episode of the Havre Card Cast. And today we're going to be talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh community. But before we go ahead and dive into this discussion, let's go ahead and pay some imaginary bills. So today's episode is sponsored once again by yours truly. If you haven't been to any of these podcasts before, I am not sponsored currently, but if anyone would like to sponsor me, please feel free to do so. So anyways, on with the quick advertising today. So, if you guys haven't yet, be sure to go check out my Twitter. I do also have a Facebook and an Instagram, but they're not very active, so go follow me on Twitter, @HavreMan is my handle. I've been doing a lot of fun stuff on there lately, and it'll tie into the whole community discussion later. And if you guys happen to be looking for any singles for Yu-Gi-Oh!, remember to go check out my account on TCG Player. I am selling hundreds of singles. I'm working on upgrading my inventory all the time. I'm buying all the latest products, making sure I'm keeping up with all the latest cards. So if you guys have some staples or just some newer cards that you're looking for, be sure to go check out my TCG Player and buy some cards for me to help support the channel. And maybe someday I'll eventually get a TCG affiliate link. But for right now, this is all I'm doing. And if you're watching this podcast, you're most likely on my YouTube channel. There's a chance you might be listening to me through other apps like Spotify or whatever. But don't forget to check out all my other content on my YouTube channel as well, The Havre Card Man, where I upload weekly Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. And I'm also uploading content to other channels like Team Chaos Stream and the Coalition of Scrubs. So be sure to go subscribe to them and check them all out and see all my videos there as well as everyone else. And if you guys want, be sure to go support all of the other creators that are involved in the Coalition of Scrubs. I will have all of their stuff linked down in the description if you're on YouTube. And then if it's through a different app, I mean, if there's a description or like notes there or anything, there will be links there as well. So be sure to go check them out. They're all awesome people. If you need to find them, their links are in any of my videos. You can find them literally anywhere. So with the advertising out of the way, let's go ahead and talk or get into today's discussion about the Yu-Gi-Oh community. So I obviously have my gripes with the Yu-Gi-Oh community. If I didn't, I wouldn't be bringing this up to discussion today. Otherwise, there would really be no reason to talk about it. So lately, I've kind of been seeing some more attention being brought to negative stuff. Usually players getting on each other and being toxic, and then everyone else going and calling them out and just causing these big dramatic scenes. Mostly on Twitter. I don't see this really anywhere else, if we're being honest. I'm not anywhere else, but Twitter definitely seems to have kind of that, it has that community. I feel like it's got like the biggest community of all the social media platforms that I've seen so far. Once again, I'm not active on everything, so I don't know for sure. But from what I've seen on Twitter, it definitely seems to be a really, really big group, and there's a huge following for Yu-Gi-Oh! On Twitter. And that's kind of how I found my way into everything going on social media-wise, into my YouTube, into my Twitter, you know, how I've been able to grow so fast. Twitter has been super helpful for that. And there is a big good side and a bad side to this community. And I really think when it comes down to it, the good does outweigh the bad, but the bad is still there. And I just kind of want to talk about the community as a whole today. Just recently, let me see actually when it was here so I can confirm to you guys. So 4 days ago, I tweeted out a challenge. Because of all this negative responses, I said, challenge for all Yugi Twitters. I've seen a lot of attention being given to the negative side of the community, but I don't see enough positive tweets getting attention. So I challenge you to go share or reply to a positive Yu-Gi-Oh tweet and give everyone some love. So my original intention with this was basically just to go retweet stuff and like just, you know, show the Yu-Gi-Oh community some love by supporting them and trying to boost their numbers up and whatnot. You know, like say somebody just uploaded a video they're really excited about, go retweet that and share it or reply to it and be like, hey, nice video, good job and all that. That was my original intent with that. But wow, did the community take it in a way better direction than I anticipated. Everyone interpreted it way differently than what I had intended, and honestly, the results are way better than what I had expected, and it was so heartwarming to see all these responses. For those of you that took part in this, you obviously know, this was just insane. Like, I also didn't expect this tweet to, like, pop off and get so much activity. Like, looking at the activity right now, it's made more impressions than any other tweet I've actually made, so that alone is says something about this community, that something so positive can reach so much attention and get so many people involved. And it really seemed to bring everyone together. Like, just going through, everyone here is going through, and it's almost like they're winning the Oscar, you know? Like, they're going through and they're thanking people that helped them get where they are now, that inspired them, people they've met along the way that they've befriended. It's just all a bunch of heartwarming stuff. And if you guys really need some positive energy in your day, please go to my Twitter and go to this thread and then check out all the retweets and comments, because there is just so much positive energy being spread around here. And it was so heartwarming to watch this all go on. Unfortunately, I was at work for most of it, so I didn't actually get to see all this stuff live. I kind of had to see it when I got off shift. I didn't really... It felt weird trying to respond to a lot of it at that point, but there had been so much that had happened in like just a few hours from this, because people were just so excited to, you know, share all this kindness with everyone else. And I think that speaks a lot about this community and how much we can actually love and like share all this happiness with others and have a good time. Like that's what this community is intended for, is everyone getting together to play this children's card game and have a lot of fun with all these different things around it, whether it be doing deck profiles, live games, art, you know, just stuff based around the game, lore. There's a whole bunch of different facets to this game, but at the end of the day, we're all making stuff based on this game, not only because we love creating the content, but because we love the game itself. And it's one of those big unifying factors that allows this community to be so energetic and so happy. And I love it so much. I love seeing all this positive energy and everything come to light, and just seeing everybody kind of just come out. And like people that I haven't even really seen be active a lot lately, I've seen come out and put in their little share on this, and people I've never met before or never talked to were coming in and giving their 2 cents and sharing all their support and love. It was just incredible how much it got attention. I do plan to do more stuff like this in the future because it was just so good. It was so nice to see. I don't even care about the numbers. Like, okay, well, I'll admit I'm a content creator. The numbers do excite me, and it does, you know, bring me joy to see that stuff happening. But at the same time, the biggest joy out of all of this was seeing the community come together and just be super friendly. And I think as a part of that, this has really changed a lot of my attitude since tweeting this, because now I am trying to work more on my positive attitude and just trying to spread the good energy throughout the community as much as I can, because obviously 2020 has not been a great year for anyone. It's just, for lack of a better term, and apologies for my French, 2020 has just been an absolute shithole. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 2020 has sucked through and through, but there's at least one good thing at the end of the day, and that's that we can come together as a community and share the love and still have a good time. That thing, the humanity from us will never really get taken away. It's always going to be there to some degree, and we'll all kind of be able to share that love, you know, as long as we're around having a good time, playing some games. I think overall, we can all just stay strong as a community and just keep loving everything. Like, it's so crazy. And I'm still getting notifications about this tweet, by the way. Like, every now and then I'm still seeing a couple of replies or retweets with comments. That's how active this tweet is. I don't see that with any of my tweets. Like, I'm not a very popular person. I have 138 followers. I'm nothing huge. Like, I just want to make that clear and straight across. I am not a huge influencer or content creator. I'm just here making what I love, not getting paid for it, you know, just doing what I really, really enjoy doing. And I do it like an insane amount. Like, I'm up at 5 a.m. every morning doing this stuff because I love it that much. So, granted, I still work a full-time job, so I have to kind of balance around that. I still have to live. But that's how much I love doing this stuff, and being able to do things like this was so great. So now when I'm on Twitter and stuff, because I scroll through it a lot more actively now, probably because of this, I could be wrong, but I've just kind of been finding myself on Twitter a lot more lately, and just I tend to see a lot more of the positive tweets now, and it makes me really feel good, because I still see like the negative tweets every now and then, or like the contrarian ones where it's just people getting into really useless arguments or just bashing somebody or talking down on something for really no reason. But when you see the positive tweets, it's like, okay, this has been a good part of my day. I'm going to like and retweet this, just because I feel like that stuff needs to get shared more often, and more people need to be seeing that, and just kind of help keep everyone's moods up. Because I've noticed that, like, ever since I started doing this too, I've been making a lot better content, and I've been a lot more focused at making content. Like right now during this podcast, the last podcast I recorded, I was kind of down. I was a little bit tired and dreary, and I really couldn't keep focused or talk straight. I was just kind of rambling, and I found myself kind of tripping over my own tongue a lot, and I had a lot of problems concentrating and just outputting the content that I really wanted to make and the quality I wanted to make it at. But ever since I've kind of been like a little more positive, I'm giving myself the more positive attitude when I'm going at the community and engaging with it, I've found a lot more success in being able to do the things that I want. And it's just become a lot easier to be creative because I've got that positive outlook. I'm not just like, oh, this is another dredging thing to do, another thing that I've got to grind through or whatever. I view it as something fun to do. Like, this is technically my hobby. I'm not making any money off of it, but I love every second that I put into it. And trust me, I'm putting plenty of time into this. I think I calculated out, I'm like 25 hours a week on this, combining that with a 40-hour job. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, and I really enjoy every second of it. Of course, I'm not Bear X Bear level of quality, but I do aspire to be a lot higher up eventually. I've been working on learning my programs a lot, and it's just been great. And the community's really been inspiring me to do this, seeing all the positive feedback from all this, because keep in mind, this is like, oh, I can't remember the number now. I think it's like my 9th YouTube channel that I've either created or been a part of. And this is the one that's seen the most success because it's the one where I've engaged with the community the most and been like the most enthused about it. And that is the big thing with creating content, is if you're not enthused about doing it and you don't really love doing it, it's going to transfer your videos, and you're going to lose a lot of you're going to lose a lot of quality in your content and lose a lot of viewers for your content. When you kind of keep that positive, happy energy about you, people tend to respond to that a lot more, and it feels a lot more wholesome and a lot more genuine. And I even noticed that, like, even I'm willing to go back through and watch some of my older Yu-Gi-Oh videos, which granted I haven't been around for that long. It's been like 6 months now, 7 months. But even then, I'm willing to go back and watch those videos because I actually enjoy doing that. I enjoyed my attitude then, and like that was the one thing I got right from the start. My editing is still working on getting better. I've been working on that each and every day, and I've been doing a lot of stuff to upgrade that and get better at it. But the one thing that's always kind of stayed with me throughout all this is my attitude, and I noticed like the few videos where I kind of dipped in that a little bit, or I didn't feel as energetic or enthusiastic, I noticed I didn't really enjoy as much, and it didn't really get as well of a response. So those days are when you kind of got to be like, all right, well, I can't do this right now. I need to take a break from it. I need to come back to it later when I'm more in the mood for it. Because being a content creator, you really do kind of have to be in the mood for it. And I do a lot to kind of hype myself up and get myself into the state of mind to be able to do it, but there are just some days where I just can't make it work. So those are the days I just have to call it. I'm like, all right, I can't do this today. I got to just rest and try to do it a different day. And it really sucks on those days because it also defeats my morale a little bit. I'm sitting there thinking like, well, I need to be productive right now. I need to be making content, or I'm not going to be able to keep up with my schedule. And then I have to like constantly remind myself, I'm like, well, if I try to force this, I'm not going to be able to make good content. People aren't going to like it, and it's just going to be a waste of my time because I'm not going to like it. And at the end of the day, that's what matters, is if you like the content you're producing. And that's part of why I started this podcast, because I really want to release more content and content that I enjoy. And the podcasts for me have been a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying doing all this and just sitting down and like ranting for a while on certain topics. Like my first one about vending, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and I felt like I actually had knowledge to share, even if it's not very accurate knowledge, because there's a good chance that it's not as accurate as I think it is. But it's just the satisfaction of being able to sit down and be like, wow, I can do this. I can actually talk about this stuff and just sit here and have a good time, even if I'm just by myself. And I do plan to have guests, by the way. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, just let me know down in the comments if you're on YouTube, or hit me up on Twitter or whatever. I'm definitely open to taking guests for these podcasts. Right now, I'm just doing them on my own just because it's easier, especially scheduling-wise. But once I get a few of these recorded in advance, then I can definitely start having some guests. So be sure to hit me up for that. But I digress. It's just keeping on going with this community thing. I love everything about this community so much, but once again, there are some cases in which the community is not that great. Like we've seen recently, there's I don't know if you guys have been on Twitter and you've been kind of following along with the whole Yu-Gi-Oh group. There's been a lot of negative talk lately. A couple occasions of people bashing on certain types of players and certain decks. And, we really don't need that kind of stuff in this game. There's over 10,000 cards in this game. There's so many different strategies that people can play. And if you're just going to bash on somebody for playing one strategy that they really like, then honestly, I don't know if this is the game for you, because people are going to do that. It's just how it's going to be. There's always going to be people that play that deck, and if you think there's not, then, well, I'm sorry, but you're a little mistaken. This game may be slightly dying and going down in numbers compared to what it used to be, but there's still a whole lot of players for this game. I mean, you look at Team APS has 200,000 subscribers. That's at least 200,000 players, and it may not seem like a lot in like a global scale, but there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players. This is still a popular game to play, and anyone who thinks it's not is pretty much wrong. And there's just been like a lot of negative talk in general. Once again, just people that are going out there to be contrarians and just saying like, hey, I see what you said here, and I'm going to say the opposite just for the sake of being the opposite of you, and like that's their entire personality. And those people drive me a little bit nuts on Twitter, I'll be quite honest, because it's like, you're just here to spread negative vibes and no one really likes it. It's like, why are you even here? Like, just go find someone else, please. Like, this is not the community to be doing that with, because we've shut quite a few of those down. Like, maybe not completely shut them down, but we've definitely gone after them quite a bit. I won't name anyone specifically, of course, for their sake, for anyone's sake, really. But there have been a few people that have kind of been on the receiving end of some targeting because of some negative comments made on Twitter, and then all the negative feedback they've received, and it just goes back and forth, and it really just drags the community down as a whole, and just does a lot for kind of killing us a little bit. And that's why it's good to bring like these positive vibes back every now and then, like what I did for that challenge. And once again, I do plan on doing more stuff like that, like more share the love type stuff, and spread the positivity and things like that. I do plan to do more of that because it really does feel good for everyone involved. So I definitely want to do more of that stuff. But sorry, I needed a quick sip of water. There are other things in the community too. Like, if you follow anything Konami related, they've been doing the Create a Card project lately. I haven't really been keeping up with it myself, but I've heard about the botting and people buying bots to rig the polls. I think if you're willing to do that, I mean, what does that say about you as a player? Like, that's not being genuine to the player base, and you're just kind of ruining things for everybody, because I think they ended up having to, once they discovered the botting, they had to go and change a few things. And I don't know, it's kind of sad to see people doing that and trying to like ruin the game for everyone else. It's like, yeah, okay, if you want that deck, fine, just vote for it by yourself and try to convince other people to vote for it, but don't go buy bots. Like, that's just ridiculous. What kind of low do you have to stoop to buy bots to vote for a new piece of cardboard in a children's card game? I'm sorry, but that is just like the lowest level of low in my opinion. And if you're willing to do that, you should definitely be kind of evaluating your life a little bit. Like, what else you could have done so many more constructive things with that money than try to get a new piece of cardboard in a children's card game. I'm sorry, it's just sad. It's kind of sad to me. But aside from that, there really hasn't been too much on the negative side of Twitter lately, or even just the community in general. Everything I've seen from my perspective, and like everything that I've done, like I go to my channel, everything is positive feedback. Like if I were to go into my YouTube studio right now and look at my comments, which I am actually currently doing, it's been nothing but positive feedback, and I absolutely love it. There is constructive criticism in here, of course, which I genuinely appreciate. I really do love seeing constructive criticism because it makes me feel like the people are actually watching and they're actually paying attention to what I make. And then they're thinking like, well, if you wanted to, you could improve upon this. And it's really cool for me to see. It's like, all right, well, I can see the areas that I'm kind of lacking in and start working on those a little bit. And it's a huge thing for me to see that. It helps me with my personal growth. It helps me get better as an editor, as a content creator, as just a general person, and it's done a lot to change things for this channel. Like, you go back to day one and look at my earliest video, my very first Prank Kids deck profile, which was my actual first upload. You go back and look at that, and you compare that to what I just uploaded last week with my Melfi deck profile. It is a night and day difference. Just how much in terms of quality has changed. You go from everything from like the video to the audio to the thumbnail to the descriptions. So much has changed. I feel like I've improved greatly from where I originally started, and the community has really done a lot in helping to push me there by showing me the things that I may not have done as good as I could have, or that I could improve upon. Usually it's been stuff like deck building, I won't lie. The editing's been okay for the most part. I've definitely improved a lot upon that. The thumbnails have definitely helped too. But just having them like help point out things to me and make things a little bit more obvious that I might not have seen otherwise. It's always good to have other eyes looking on your videos. And I would be like sending all my videos to other friends and whatnot if it weren't like Yu-Gi-Oh videos. If it was like short films or like an advertisement or something, I'd be sending that in for review first, of course. But Yu-Gi-Oh videos, I usually just kind of upload and just let the people decide if it was good or not. And they definitely are not afraid to tell you when you're like this open and this genuine about it. Like I'm staring at a paragraph comment here that's that actually was really insightful and really helped me a lot in terms of just progressing my content as a whole. And it was actually on my last podcast. So there's a whole bunch that this community will do for you. There's the community itself is just great in terms of being friendly, being open, being loving and caring, and also knowing when to get your back. Like this community is the definition of a really good friend. They know when you're being an idiot, and they will point it out, and they know when to support you, and they really do support a lot. Like, you see all the regular people that are always commenting on these videos like, hey, great job, I loved it, keep it up. And I see these all the time, and they make me so happy to see. It's such a good feeling, and I don't know where I'd be without this community. Like, honestly, if it weren't for this community, I probably wouldn't have continued making these Yu-Gi-Oh videos, just because the amount of love that they've been showing me has been incredible, and it's definitely been inspiring me to keep doing more videos. And I know it's bad to, like, focus on the numbers and use the numbers as an excuse to keep going and to keep making content. And I don't really use it as an excuse. It's a boost. It definitely gets me more energized and more active and more ready to do this stuff, rather than just kind of sitting back and just doing it lazily. The community is what keeps me going at the pace that I am. Like, honestly, if I didn't have this level of support, you'd probably be getting like maybe one mediocre video from me a week, rather than two what I think are pretty good videos a week, and that I put a lot of effort into. And then you're also getting podcasts and live streams from me. You guys get a lot of content out of me because I really love doing it for you. I love being able to show you guys what I have to offer, because you also give me such good feedback. And it's incredible. It really does make me feel good to be able to do this stuff. And once again, I do get excited about the numbers. I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. Any content creator deep down really does get excited about the numbers, but it's not my main focus here. My main focus here is just to share with you guys the stuff that I can create. It makes me feel like I actually have a skill that I can show to the world. Like, growing up, I was never really good with like drawing or, all this other artistic stuff. I was pretty good with writing. People really did enjoy my writing, but I couldn't really get into that as much. I always wanted to do some sort of visual art, and I feel like creating content kind of does fall under that. It may not be like art that you're going to sell for $1 million, but it's stuff that I can take pride in, because I really enjoy making it. I like the way it turns out. I think it's really cool. I have a lot of fun making it, and it keeps me really enthusiastic, and it gives me something to look forward to throughout the day. That it really, like, it makes my day job not seem as bad, because I know that I get to come home and do this stuff, or do it before I go to work, and the work is what is able to supplement me for this stuff, and what allows me to buy like 2 cases of the 2020 Megatins, for example. That's probably gonna be for a different podcast, but like, just everything as a whole is so energizing and revitalizing. And like I said before, this is like the 9th YouTube channel I've been on. Those have not lasted very long, or at least I was not able to stay very consistent with those, because I didn't enjoy them as much. Like, if I go back to, let's say I'll go to my film channel, which was my last channel I did, Shout Out Separate Films. If you want to check it out, it is still live, and it's still got 92 videos on it. I did a lot of stuff relating to short films, or like, budget tips and techniques for filmmaking, or just general video making. There's a lot of stuff on there that I did. I did a couple of product reviews and whatnot. There's things on there if you guys want to go check it out. Definitely enjoy it if you want to. I was a kid, and it was fun. This is really what got me into doing all this stuff, because before this, I started off, I don't know if I've said this story on the channel before, but I'll repeat it again here really quick. So I think it was when I was 10 years old, I started up a YouTube channel. I convinced my parents to let me use my phone camera, which at the time was very low quality. I think it was like 480p, and that was considered HD for phones. And I would do these Lego videos, like little construction videos. Like, I'd do things for minifigures. Like, I'd make like a Halo energy sword, or Halo hammer, or like all this other stuff. I did all these small like Lego construction things. I eventually started trying to do the stop motion animation stuff, which kind of went okay. I was young. I was a kid, so obviously it wasn't the greatest of quality. Eventually I got a camcorder, and I started doing more of the stop motion stuff, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. And then eventually I got into doing Nerf videos. I did a couple of like Nerf Wars quotation marks that actually surprisingly did really good for the time. I don't know how it happened, but those are deleted now, unfortunately. I'm really sad that I got rid of them, but once again, I was young, I was dumb, I wasn't thinking, and I just deleted the old videos because I started up a gaming channel with the same subscriber base. I literally just rebranded the entire channel. It went from Legos and Nerf to gaming, and wow, was it a jump. I started off with like Minecraft videos. I did like a Minecraft survival series, and all this other stuff. I got into all these other games, and it was just very, very low quality and very unentertaining stuff. They just dragged on forever, very little editing and whatnot. I just kind of recorded the video and uploaded it raw. And that was pretty much the extent of my content for a while. And then I started getting into more stuff like Destiny, and I started doing more editing. And I kind of started to grow a little bit from there, get a little bit better. And then I hit high school, and I believe it was sophomore year, or my 10th grade, I found my media class. And I don't know how, but I fell in love with that class like immediately. And before you knew it, I was teaching the class by next year. Like, I had taken the Media 1 class, which was like the beginner level class. You learn how to do the camera, you do all your shots and angles, and then you're making a film by the end of the semester. A short film, like less than 10 minutes. Usually it was PSAs that were like a minute and a half. But I decided to do a short film. I think it was like 7 minutes. Let me find it, because it was actually the first upload to this channel too. I don't think I was even supposed to upload it. I think technically it wasn't allowed, but yeah, 4 years ago it was my first one, and it was almost 7 minutes, and that film is really what's carried me through all this, because it did end up going to an international film festival kind of nearby to me. And it did okay. It didn't really place anything. It didn't really do a whole lot of anything. So it was a student level film. It was my first one. The fact that it made it at all, though, was just incredible. And from there, I started making more films. I kept going on with the class. I went to Media 2, learned even more advanced stuff. And I was the only one in that class because no one really wanted to go higher than level 1. They basically took level 1 just for the extracurricular credits. Or not extracurricular, but just for the extra credit. And I kept going with it, and like I said, by junior year, I had become a student teacher for that class, and I did the same thing with my senior year. I just taught that class for the rest of my time in high school, alongside the teacher, of course, because she didn't always have time. But I really fell in love with that class, and I went along with it. And I started off with Shadow Saber Films. I started making a bunch of short films and like stuff related to it, like I'd do extras or like behind the scenes from the films. I do like different, like I had a Chris Talk series where I talk about different things in life, a lot of update videos, a lot of other stupid stuff. And I started branching off and doing other things later on, but I never really got like too good at it while I was actually active in doing it until like towards the end. I started to progress a lot more, but I just never really had the same engagement and community on there as I do here. It never really felt as lively. It felt like I was just kind of putting out content and just releasing it into the void. I didn't have anyone there to support me or, be like, hey, great video, or leaving likes or anything. It just didn't feel like I was doing it for anyone. It just kind of felt like I was throwing up videos on the internet for them to just kind of disappear. And it was really demoralizing, and it caused me to dip out a lot. I'd be gone for like months at a time. Like if I look here, I see one of these videos from several months ago, and then there's like a 7-month gap, and it's just like, what? I was very bad about that with channels. It's staying consistent and keeping my uploads. I tried to do weekly uploads to that channel. It just wasn't working. I tried to do bi-weekly. That wasn't working. There just really wasn't anything to keep me motivated and keep me driving for it to actually stay active on the channel and build up the community like I wanted to. And it kind of just got stagnant around that 100 subscriber range and not really getting any viewers. So seeing how quickly the Yugioh channel has been growing and how much you guys have been loving the Havre Card, man, it's super cool. I really love seeing all the support from you guys yet again. And it's incredible. Like I words cannot stress enough how incredible this community is in terms of bringing people up and supporting them. There's so many other communities that just don't receive the same feedback. Like even if you go into something just as simple as like video games, you go to the Fortnite community, super toxic. I haven't been like super active in there, but the little bit that I was in there when like the game first came out, it was really toxic. And there's a lot of different streamers and a lot of different games that the communities are not very friendly on, and they definitely get rough. And it just turns into a lot of hate and arguments, and it really just adds to the chaos and pandemonium of 2020 already. So to be involved in something like this Yu-Gi-Oh community, and it's a much more tame and friendly environment, has been a great change of pace, and it definitely helps to kind of like pull away from all of the craziness of 2020. Obviously, we can't completely ignore it. It's always there. But at the same time, it's good to take a break from it and be able to see the more positive side of life and keep a more positive outlook. It's been doing a lot, especially for my mental health. Like there were some days there where I was my brain was getting racked with all this different stuff coming at me. And it was so hard to keep up with everything because it feels like every second there's something new happening that's just more and more devastating the more and more it goes on. I'm hoping that the end of 2020 is going to be like the reset button and some of the stuff starts to calm down a little bit. But yeah, there's no hiding it. This year has sucked. And once again, having this community be as awesome as it is has saved everyone, I'm sure, a lot of heartache and pain. Obviously, it's not going to be gone completely, but it definitely helps to take the edge off. So yeah, this community once again is just incredible, and there is no better community that I've found in all of my travels. Like once again, I've been from Lego to Nerf to gaming. Like I did a lot of Minecraft. I've done like Destiny, all these other games, and this has by far been the best community I've ever witnessed, including from all of the other content I've watched too. Like I don't just watch Yu-Gi-Oh content. I mean, it's the majority of what I watch, but trust me, there's plenty of other content that I watch, and out of all the communities, this one has got to be my favorite so far. And of course, it's not without its faults. Every community will have that group to it. But to see as much of it is, or as much of this community being as positive as it is, has been just super inspiring and really makes me want to continue doing stuff for it. So before I keep rambling on and saying a lot of the same words again, I think that's all I got for you guys today with the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, or just follow this podcast if you're listening anywhere else. I hope you really enjoyed just listening to me rant, whether you be in the car or doing chores or just whatever you got this on in the background for. I really hope these chats have kind of been fun for you guys. Like I said, I do plan to get guests in the future, so hopefully they'll be a little bit more engaging and a little bit more entertaining. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to sit down with me today, just over half an hour to sit down and have this discussion with me. It's been a huge blast, and I really look forward to doing the next episode. And of course, this podcast is going to be released afterwards, but I'm live streaming tonight, and I'm super excited to see the group get together again. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Don't forget to check out my YouTube again and my TCG player if you're looking to buy singles. And that's all I got for you. I'll stop rambling on. Remember to have fun and make your move. Peace out.
I'm a love giver.